Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Drupal Partners webinar on cost-effective strategies for hiring a dedicated Drupal developer. We appreciate you for joining and look forward to a good discussion. Any questions you have, please feel free to put them in chat. We'll get back to them. Thanks so much. All right. So today, my name is John Harris. I'm head of sales for Drupal Partners, and I'm joined by our CEO, Satish Kumar, CEO of Drupal Partners, been here for 15 years and deep expertise in Drupal technology. We appreciate you joining for this opportunity. Just to quickly go over our agenda, we're going to cover why hiring Drupal developers is crucial, and then talk about some the requirements and various cost-effective strategies in doing that process. So thanks a bunch. So before we begin, just a little bit about Drupal. Some of you may not be using Drupal, but I'm sure most of you are. But just to recap what Drupal is about. And there are 1.7 million websites on the internet that use Drupal, very large number, and used by businesses, personal blogs, portals, corporations, government, education, media, widely used. Any organization that has a lot of data to maintain and present to their customers, Drupal is a good use for that. So the community of Drupal is 1 million members, so a lot of people using it, and 2,000 government sites. Very popular among government because of all the content that's managed. Drupal is used by top brands such as Tesla, Warner Brothers, NBA, WWE, Lamborghini, and it's the only content management system that supports 100 languages. So you've made a good choice in choosing Drupal. Very powerful, resilient, great security, and industrial strength, as I like to say. So now I'll turn the floor over to Satish, who will explore how to hire the talented, cost-effective Drupal developer.
Thanks, John. Thanks, everyone, again for joining today's call. I hope wanted this webinar to be more a two-way communication. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. Myself or John will answer those questions. I don't want to say something for the next 30 minutes and you just listen. So I wanted it to be more interactive. So with that, let's first figure out why you need a Drupal dedicated developer and why that is critical. Some of the advantages we'll see, and then we'll move on to what are the best strategies to hire. So with that, see, Drupal is more of a specialized skill set. Not everybody could be able to hire everyone, like do things. I think I have a question. Okay, sorry. It's John. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just me.
Okay. All right, John. So Drupal requires specialized knowledges, and your application or your website also need some specialized knowledge. So having those Drupal technical background and your industry knowledge makes the developer more effective. So we always focus on quality. So many government sites, the stability and security are very critical factors. Like, for example, Fed, you need to have a FedRAMP certified. These are specialized skill set. Only a developer, Drupal developer can do those things. Not any other PHP developer can acquire those skill sets. And again, the impact on the project success is pretty high. If you look at it like Drupal developers, if they work on your site for at least a few iterations, they know how to minimize the deployment errors. They don't make some issues that was altered your site. They bring a lot of valuable insights. Security and compliance that your organization should follow will be easily maintained. So overall, the success of a project with a dedicated developer who knows about your industry is pretty high. And long-term value will be, you will have smaller mistakes, like the stability would be great, and you are more compliance oriented. All these kind of long-term value you will get. And challenges without a dedicated developer is obviously people, whoever comes in, they try to do and edit your website, will always have prone to make so many errors, and there will be so many security issues. We faced one client, one of the developer has made a migration, and they, without knowing about their SEO stuff, they just migrated the site and they lost the SEO traffic. All these are some kind of valuable insights that you bring to the table. So without a dedicated developer, you always at the risk of some kind of issue might happen. So that's with that. We'll jump on to when you're trying to hire developers. So you need to identify what you need from the developer, what your budget is. So before we go and look out for a developer, you need to figure out what kind of skills you need. You need a junior developer or a Drupal architect or someone who manages your entire site end to end, like a DevOps. So you need to think about like what skills and experience you need, and then you have to go and look out for the developer's skill set outside. So you might write a JD for that kind of position. And sometimes you might hire someone full time, or sometimes freelance, sometimes an agency. So depending upon the need, like if it is going to be only 10 hours per week you need, or 20 hours per week you need a developer, you might go for an agency or a freelance basis. But someone or part-time basis, I would not say freelance, maybe a part-time basis you can go for. That way you can at least have someone dedicated for you and working on your website. So you need to make a decision on that, and set a clear expectation what protocols the developer has to follow, what is the timeline you follow. If you have any aggressive growth plan with your website, you have to set the clear expectations before you hire someone. So that's something we need to be very clear, and create a clear roles and responsibilities. If you are planning the developer should be the DevOps person, you need to set those kind of roles and responsibilities. Or if you just need the developer just to do the development and give it to your deployment team or server team, they will take care of everything. You have to define the responsibilities pretty clearly. And budget. So whenever you're trying to hire someone or give a project, outsource a project, you have to have a clear budget and plan, at least a rough estimate how much you are ready to spend for the project that you're planning. So have a clear budget to hire someone. So it should be with the market standards. So we have to be very clear on those things. All right. Any questions so far? I hope. Okay. All right, let's get to the actual presentations topic, like the cost-effective hiring strategies. Um, I think obviously the first one is the in-house team hiring. This is the most effective for collaboration and everything. So you can hire someone in your organization with your own staffing team, everything. This is the best option, but the important issue is there is a lack of developers outside in the market. Like there is not enough Drupal developers, and finding a developer coming to office is always a challenge in after COVID. So, but the existing standard practice is hiring someone in-house. The other option we could see is you can go for remote talent hiring. Like you can hire someone across different parts of the world or different parts of the country. So where the cost is little bit lesser, and you can still make the talent available for you, and they'll work for you on a dedicated basis. So that way you get the best benefit of the cost saving, and also they will be dedicated for you. The only thing is the collaboration has to happen through Zoom and other meeting links. And the other option is utilize some specialized Drupal staffing agencies. Generally, Drupal staffing agencies, Drupal Partners is one of that kind of agency we do Drupal staffing to. They provide, they have a big talent of Drupal developers across different parts of the country, and they can find, like, if you tell them clearly, hey, these are the skills that I need and this is the budget I have, they will work with your budget. They, from their network, they can help you in figuring out the right talent for your the position that you're looking for, so you can work with them. And most of the Drupal staffing agencies generally would have already vetted these Drupal developers, so you get an best out of the developers when you're interviewing them. All you have to do is whether it's a right fit for you, whether the developer is culturally fit for you or not. That's what you're required to do. And the other one could be hiring from Drupal focused agency, like again Drupal Partners. We do like Drupal dedicated developer for clients. You can recruit, like you can get the dedicated developers from these agencies, and they will take care of everything for you. Like they will be owning their delivery, they will own the quality of the delivery, and they will take care of any security compliances. All these things they will take care. So that will be a better approach for many organizations, because at any point of time, if you don't want the developers to be working full time, you can easily cut down the development hours. So it's a win-win for companies. So they don't need to hire a full-time developer, provide all the benefits they can hire from these agencies. And in case if the developer leaves, there will be an alternate replacement immediately provided by the agencies itself. So again, an easier way from recruiting through agencies, again, Drupal development agencies. And the other important thing is when you're hiring a developer, the another important way of saying saving a cost is having a developer with some kind of DevOps experience. So you don't need another, like when someone is maintaining a site, you can have a developer. You need to have a server admin. You need to have QA and operations, all these things. If you can find a developer who can do all these activities, like acts as a DevOps, that would be the best persons you can hire, so that you can save a cost. Instead of hiring 3 different resources, with one single resource, you can save a lot of money. So Drupal developer with DevOps experience, if you can hire, it could save at least 50% of the cost for your organization, rather than maintaining 2 to 3 different developers. And or you can hire, like for example, Drupal Partners provide an approach in the dedicated developer model, where we provide a developer, a tester, and an admin together in one dedicated developer cost. Like you will get developer for 120 hours, tester for 20 hours, and an admin hours for 20 hours. So it is a dedicated developer team that you will get, and that way you save cost with your organization. Like instead of hiring a dedicated developer and a separate for tester and paying for a dev admin, you all in one package you can get as a dedicated team, and with the same price you save a lot of money with those things. Any questions? All right, I don't see any questions on the chat, so I hope everybody is clear. All right. The other easier approach that we could see is attending Drupal camps and Drupal cons, Drupal events. Like one of the event that very specialized is Drupal con. It happened on Portland this year. So if you can attend these kind of Drupal camps or Drupal con, you can easily meet a lot of skilled developers attending these kind of events, and you can talk with someone. And these guys are also looking for some good opportunities. Like if you can find these developers there, and you can connect with them. They would be happy to join. And if you can allow remote working, they can join your organizations. Even in Atlanta this year, Drupal Camp is being conducted by our organization. So there are various cities you can see these Drupal camps happening across US. So try to find some Drupal camps that is happening close to you and go there, and you will meet a lot of good developers, and they will be available at a cheaper cost. The cost of hiring can be easily saved if you can attend these kind of events. All right. That or you can like the most important for any organization is the delivery. Like you hire someone based on some deployments or some kind of success with your project. Instead of paying a big like $225 per hour or some big price to a developer and thinking that the project might be successful or not, or will they be deploying it on time without making any understanding of what you're signing up. Instead of hiring such person, you could make an hiring based on paper performance. Like if the delivery is happened, then you'll get paid, or if the delivery is being should happen in 8 months, if that is the time frame, you will be ready to pay. Something like that, you can make an delivery based hiring, or you can work with an agency to say the same thing, like, hey, I need this project to be completed in 8 months time, and I'll pay based on the milestone deliveries. Something like that, that will make the development team or the developer more accountable in making your project successful. If their skin is in the game, they would do a lot of activities that would make the deployment and the development much bigger. So we highly recommend you forcing that kind of make the resources to be focusing on those things. I have a question. I think Barry has like, how can I estimate cost when my site has a lot of custom code? So if you are planning to hire a developer or work with an agency, you can always connect with agency, asking them to find a quote, like what would be the cost for doing some custom modules, or always give them the site. If you're doing a migration, ask them to provide a free code for you. With that code, with the number of hours that is required, you can make a judgment what would be the cost. So most of the organizations, if you connect with them, they'll be ready to give you the code, or ask the developer before you commit something. Ask them whether you are going to get the hours before, and then assign the task to the developer. That way, the developer will be accountable in completing the task on time. And another question I got from David is like, you also need an estimate for Drupal 7 to 10 migration. Yeah. So connect with so many, there are so many good agencies out there like Drupal Partners. I'm sorry for saying that again, but we provide these kind of estimations for free, and we can help you with these kind of plan also. In case if you want to find a developer, we can help you in hiring someone in your local region, or you can use our existing developer, or use the developer in our network. So we can give you the estimate with the developer would be the right talent for you. All these things we can provide you with. And you can also make those people accountable, like, hey, you have to complete this migration in this budget, then only we can make you a payment. So those kind of things we could uh, enforce with the development company. My issue, again, another question is, my issue is migrating from Uber Cart and a few custom modules. Yes, Uber Cart, they are not moving to the newer versions. So in those cases, all you have to do is either you can think about moving to Drupal Commerce, or you can work with existing like some Drupal developers. They can maintain these patches, because UberCart has not upgraded to Drupal 10 right now. So upgrading the entire modules to UberCart modules to Drupal 10 might be a difficult process. either think about moving to Drupal Commerce or moving to another e-commerce platform. That would be the best approach. But if you are looking for, if you have already good custom modules, then Drupal Commerce would be a better approach. I think UberCart is pretty much they are done, I think. Good questions. Thanks for asking. So with that, the other option we also see is having a referral program. So within your organization, you can have these kind of referral programs so that any good developers that you worked with them in the past or your organization can help you in finding it out. Again, this is another way to make an easier network of accessing your network to get good developers. This is a general practice many organizations follow. That's another recommendations. The other approach, again, to reduce the cost and everything, AI is becoming big nowadays. So you can help in creating AI-based development practices. So any tools or any auto code generation these days are available. Specifically, organizations like us are using AI-based development to reduce the development period. So if you can find any good developer doing that, but the most important thing is you have to be aware that it has to be secure and your code or something should not be made public. So if with security and prior compliance, if some development agencies or some developers are doing it, you can work with them. Though the billing rate might be high, but your development time, actual development time would be much lesser than what other a low developer cost would be doing it. So go with that kind of AI-based development practices. Many are adapting to this Gen AI-based development in these days. All right. Any questions? No. Okay. So the other one important aspect is you can also conduct a free hackathon event, or when you go to DrupalCon, you will always see these kind of some Drupal workshop or some kind of events. You can find developers there. So, or you can conduct an hackathon event for Drupal developers. Yeah, a small freebie if you can provide, many would be interested in joining that event and do a Drupal code development, and you can easily identify who is doing best, and you can reach them out for your any Drupal projects, or you can connect with them and hire them full time. So again, an easier way to identify the right talent at a cheaper cost. And the other option is like utilize a free trial period kind of things. Like many agencies are like us, like we provide a trial period. Like you can use our dedicated developer for 30 days or 15 days. And if you see those developers are a right fit for your organization, you can continue with this. And if or if they are not enough, or if they're not following the way that you want to look your culturally or your code flow or anything, if they're not following it, you can fire them, and you don't need to pay anything for those kind of trial period. You can utilize those trial period or enforce your agencies or staffing agencies to find a developer with a trial period package. So those kind of things will save a lot of hiring mistakes, and it would be easy for you to manage your developers with your organization. All right. And again, this is another important thing as as a Drupal developer, as an agency, we always say is avoid freelancer websites. If you know a freelancer who you have worked with them personally, try to work with them. We don't. There is no issues around that. They'll be loyal to you guys, and you know their security, all those things. But when you're hiring someone from a freelancer sites, they lack accountability because they always have so many priorities and security issues. You are handing your code and your application to third-party agencies without any background checks or anything. So always there can be security loopholes, like we have seen many issues around that. Like they worked with some freelancing sites. They have pasted a code, a doorway into their website so that they got hacked multiple times. So the cost of you might think of you would save some money there, but the impact that is going to be created will be bigger than what you're going to face or saving from the freelancers from these sites. But if you're working with a good freelancer who has already been working with you, you know them personally, then there is no issues. Do a clear due diligence and then make those kind of decisions. But we always recommend to go with an some kind of staffing agencies or Drupal development agencies so that they would be accountable. Even if your site is, for example, ADA compliance, if it is not being followed on your site, if you are getting sued, you can easily share your ownership with the agency that you are working with. They will also be accountable for all these things. So try to avoid these kind of freelancer sites is what our recommendation should be. I think with that, our the strategy side we are done. So any questions around that? All right. So again, the next steps is more on the onboarding side and integrations. So whenever you hire someone, always try to give them a clear KPI, like what their roles and what their KPIs that you're going to measure them, and how can they make themselves more productive for your organization. Try to have a clear onboarding process with your with the new developer. Give them a clear transition about the best practices that is followed on your organization, compliance, or if there is any code deployment workflow. Share those kind of knowledge pretty clearly to your developers so that they could make the adjustments or work on those new workflows. And have a clear dev environment setup process, document that so that the new developer can easily set it up and connect with your GitHub, and all these deployment steps can be set pretty easily. And also always make sure that when the new developer started working on it, make sure that he got the enough training and he's able to start delivering things. So at least have a quick check-in, at least 2 weeks once, so that the project is or the developer is feeling comfortable with your development environment and is able to turn around with the project's delivery on time. And with that, we are close to the conclusion. So bottom line is have a clear strategic like what you are looking for with your developer, have a clear scope and make sure that if you have a clear scope and the job duties, then you can work on finding what is the best approach and cost effective approach for you. You can conduct a boot camp or work with the remote developers or agencies, all these things you can easily define and save cost. But in any case, don't compromise for quality or security and compliance. Those are the key pillars when you make some development choices. So with that, and always make sure that the developer that you're hiring has a good collaboration and he is available with all the major channels that you engage with. So with that, any questions? And we have a special offer with for all the participants who attended this webinar as a webinar goodies. Like whoever who wants to try, in case if you want to work with us, you can utilize our developer for 6 hours or 8 hours. If you're interested, sign up with this landing page. I put it in the chat. You can sign up there. We could provide you an free trial period in case if you want, even for 15 days, we can provide. But whoever is signing up now, they get even a development hours without any issues. We can easily provide you those free trial period. If you are looking for any trial participation, all these things, you can sign up now. Would be happy to connect with you. But in case we want any help on conducting a developer interview, also our team would be happy to help you with. So feel free to connect with us and will help you in finding the right talent for your organization or helping with your Drupal projects. And I have another questions now. How are from David, like how are developers vetted? They will have a complete access to your company site. So when your developers or your vetting, don't give your exact code access to them. There are so many good development small tasks available that you can ask your developer to execute and send those codes to you, or ask them to do it in a call how they did those kind of development. So with that, the way they do the programming and algorithm, you can reach out to them and you can make the decision. Don't share any of your code or intellectual properties with someone as a prospect. Don't share those things. That would be a very costly mistake. Good questions. Another question I have is we have a small development team within the organization, but we hire vendors to complete features with larger scopes. Could you provide any further insight? What details should be reviewed in weekly check-ins and vendors? So that's a good question. So what kind of review? I don't know, like what development cycle you're following. Is it a waterfall method, or if you're following any other agile process or Scrum prints? Then all we have to do is make sure that your developers are following the Scrum plan. Obviously, at every 2 week sprint, they have to deliver those projects, but make sure those developers are able to do the programming in the sense following the Drupal standards, and they make sure that they are able to do those developments, like any security issues, all those complaints. Try to make sure that they are following that, uh, because there are issues around that, I would say. And the other option, you can also look into what you can review with your weekly check-ins with your vendors is, are they having a clear deployment plan in place? Because many times whenever you make a deployments, these deployments usually fail, will affect their future codes, or the past mistakes will come again. So try to make sure that they have a clear deployment plan and what their deployment process look like. Have a look into those things. Should the other question is, should organization developers perform code reviews on a regular cadence? At least, yes, definitely you should do. You don't need to do every weekly check-ins, but at least monthly once you need to do a regular code audit so that they follow the standards of Drupal. If not, you might complete the projects on time, but when you're deploying the entire code in the live, you might face some deployment, I mean, the performance issues. Many times, I think New Relic, if you're utilizing that in your organization, generally identify those kind of deployment issues, these kind of things. So instead of finding out in the production, you can find it out in the development stage itself. If my company was interested in hiring a full-time um, developer, what type of salary would be a developer position? Typically, command, and what type of resource should be in place to make sure the developer can be successful. So the question is, what is the ballpark salary range for Drupal developer? Totally depends on the position, like 5 year, 10-year experience and the location. So if it is in New York, it might be at $140,000 or $150,000. But other cities, it's at $120,000. Some developers I've seen charging at 180K. So in California, so depends upon the location. If you're open for a developer in remote locations, you can find someone at $100,000. But definitely, if you work with some agencies, even you can find at a cheaper price. And the next question is, what type of resource you should be in with the developer to make them successful? We need a developer, we need a tester, we need server admin, like a DevOps guy. and we need some kind of business analyst, someone like that. If you are already having these things, because if you have a clear business expectation, then the job of a developer would be much easier. So, or find a team that provides these services as a part of package, so that the developer can be easily successful. Like a developer with BA for 10 hours, QA for 10 hours, and server admin for 10 hours. If you can find someone with those practice, the developer might be successful. And by the way, Drupal partners provide that kind of uh, hybrid development team overall. Any other questions? All right. So again, we will be sending this webinar to everyone after this meeting. And we'll also share this YouTube link. At any point of times, you can always reach out to me. My email address is satish@Drupal Partners, or you can reach out to John. He is mostly working with companies for staffing, and he connects best Drupal developers in the town for you guys. So you can work with him also, or send him an email with your requirement. If we don't have any one in place, at least we'll refer you to the right place where you can find the good developers for your organization. You can also send an email to your friends at Drupal Partners at any point of time. Thanks for listening. Have a great day, and see you in the next good webinar. Thanks, guys.